Hello, everybody. This is John Molina, doctor to UFC star Cain Velasquez. I just wanted to come on and say that my plan of putting Mr. Velasquez together with crazy glue, bondo, duct tape, and staples didn't work out as well as I hoped. Needless to say, I might be looking for new employment soon. Anyway, here's my head nurse, Rina. Rina, what went wrong?
I don't know, man. What happened? Oh, man. Poor Kane. I picked him too, man.
Well, it's a formal introduction. What's up, guys? It's Juice, obviously. Here with Rina.
Say,
Yeah,
say pizza.
pizza. That's a shout out to Just Bleed and Don't Ask Uncle Bobby, you fuckers making fun of my English. At least I can say pizza correctly. Anyway, back to business. Going on to that other disgrace of a Mexican, Cain Velasquez. Yeah, man. I know, Reen, you were, well, I don't know if I could call you the loyal one since you're not Mexican, but I went against them, and at least for me, that one turned out to be right. I,
God, that was horrible.
I mean, I was choosing him to lose, and not even that I wanted him to lose. I just thought he wasn't going to be ready. But I did think he'd be healthy. I didn't put his health into the consideration of this. Like, I just think he'd be really rusty. I guess he was for the little bit that we saw, and then he got clocked, and then the knees went out. I don't know, where do you stand on this whole controversy that his knees buckled and then he basically gave up, or that he got hit and then he got hurt?
Well, when they replayed it back, it looks like he did get hurt. That's why he dropped. But my question is, why didn't he take his time?
Like feel Ngannou out, not just kind of like rush him.
Yeah.
I guess Monday morning quarterback, in retrospect, that seems like a good idea. You know what? I wasn't necessarily mad at that, and then I think he kind of probably just got in his own head too. Like, he'd been off for so long. His thing is to pressure, so I think he probably thought, if I take my time, if I'm too hesitant, I'm either gonna get clocked or I'm just gonna start losing the round. So I think he probably just figured, like, fuck it, just go balls to the wall, go straight forward. I mean, he didn't do anything stupid. It's not like he started winging haymakers, but yeah, I mean, it looked like he wasn't afraid to step in the fire, and unfortunately, he got burned.
Yeah, man, 2 years and it just over just like that. It's just crazy, man. So disappointed. Just wondering what's next for him. Is it over? Should he retire?
That was my gut reaction. Maybe I was being too harsh. It seemed like a lot of people said, similar things. It's just one of those things that Kane, from what I've known of him, he seems like, not that he's not dedicated, not that he's not passionate about fighting, but from what I remember him saying, he's never been too big of a fan. He's one of those guys that just watches like Rockhold and DC and some of his teammates fight. He doesn't stay in to watch the pay-per-views and stuff. So he kind of sees it as a job. So I don't know, but that kind of attitude, it's not a bad thing, but it makes you start to wonder, like, if you come back, are you willing to take I guess, a quote unquote tune-up fight, or would you be willing to fight who's like a Stefan Struve or a guy like that you should be able to beat in order to get into title contention? Because he kind of seems like the guy, he's always going to want to go for the big fish for all the right or all the wrong reasons, for better or for worse.
Yeah, that was just disappointing. I mean, this whole build up and then his comeback fight and it's still unanswered. Like, what can Francis really do? Just, I guess, kill bitches and that's it. Like, for real, like, man, we that power is just insane.
Yeah, it's hard. It did kind of seem similar to the Curtis Blade fight, right? The last one, the rematch. Like, Curtis Blades, I don't think did anything stupid either. I just think he wasn't as cautious as he should have been, and he paid for it. And he got knocked out in what, like 90 seconds as well.
Yeah, I mean that nickname, the Predator. I mean, that's for real. Like, he's a scary guy. So
That's
good luck. And then what did he say? Like, DC, come and avenge your
Avenger
teammates.
boy.
Yeah, your teammates like lost here. Like, come on, bring it. I don't know if DC wants that smoke. That's crazy, man. That old man, his neck is messed up too, right?
I think it was his back, but yeah, he made DC cry. He won't admit it, but he made him cry, man. I saw that ESPN interview with him after the fight, and he was very upset. You could tell, but his voice was like very hoarse, and he just looked like really tired. Like, I think he was crying before that, or he was just really really mad. But then he had the balls to say, "Oh, I'll beat his ass. It's not even worth it." It's like, man, come on, you just fucked up your best friend. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna fight you. I'll beat your ass."
Is he crying because he's scared? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I'm from NorCal. I'm sorry. I'll get my ass kicked. Hi.
No, DC wouldn't be scared. It's just I think he really felt bad for his homie for Kane. I mean, 2.5 years, and then he comes down like that again on a giant national stage, like he did with the Fox show. I mean, there's people out there like casual MMA fans who know who Cain Velasquez is. Like, oh yeah, that's the guy that gets knocked out all the time.
Sorry. Man, that sucks though. Damn, dude. So okay, so what's next for Francis? What's next?
I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know. I guess it's hard and easy to say title shot because I mean it's 2 fights, but quick knockouts that goes a long way. But also Stipe. I mean, I know he hasn't fought anyone since DC, but he still is the most successful heavyweight in UFC history. So if DC's going to stick around and Brock Lesnar's not in the mix, and it seems like John Jones is not going to be in the mix for a while, I mean, it has to be either Ngannou or Stipe. Stipe seems the most likely option because that was his first loss in years, and Stipe already beat Ngannou, but who knows? Unless for some reason they run Stipe and Ngannou back for like the number one contender fight, but part of me tells me Stipe wouldn't take that.
Yeah, and I think Dana already said no about Francis and DC going at it. Because I don't know, maybe Brock is still in the mix somehow. Who knows? But maybe he doesn't want DC fighting Francis because we may know what might happen. We've seen it so many times. Like, damn, that power is just crazy, man.
Yeah, I would pick DC to win because it's a smart choice. Like if I had to bet money on it, but I would not feel confident in it at all. But the more and more we talk about this, time is just going on and on. I'm with you. I mean, you're still with the thing that you don't think Brock's coming back, or are you doubting yourself now too?
I don't know now, man. It's crazy. I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, he has the belt. DC has the belt. So, of course, you would have to fight him. That would have to be on the table. That should be next. Why didn't they, like, drag DC in there and do a face off? That would have been badass. They would have set up the next fight. That would have been huge. But they're probably protecting him at the same time. And he has a job at the desk. And all this bullshit, all the political shit that happens in the background, that we don't know about. So, but that would have been huge, right? I think he was there or no?
No, I don't know if he was in San Jose. I don't think he was in ESPN, like in the studios or in the arena. I think they like Skyped him when they called him, so
Okay.
I don't think he was there. But yeah, I think the whole strike while the iron is hot. Yeah, Ngannou's a good fight, but it doesn't sell tickets the way Lesnar or Jones or maybe even Stipe does, because that's kind of a hardcore fight, I guess, in a way. But
Mm-hmm.
I think people know about Stipe more than they know about Ngannou, if I had to guess.
Yeah, man. Then I wonder what's going to be next with Francis. But he fights, he gets to fight another day. He doesn't have to show us anything else. No wrestling, nothing else. His cardio, we don't know anything about that.
Yeah, he's very, very fortunate.
He gets to like work on it again for another 6-8 months, I guess.
It could be a gift and a curse. I mean, he could come back next month and fight again if he really wanted to. I mean, he took no damage, and it was the same thing with the Curtis Blades fight. That fight I think was like in November, so it's been what 2-3 months. Like he can have all these quick turnarounds, but who's going to be the guy to challenge him? Even a little bit, because so far it's only been Stipe. It's like, are you only going to be challenged? Are you only going to have tough fights when it's the champion? Because you've steamrolled everybody else before and even now.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the rankings, like yeah, he's fought Stipe, Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades, Alexander Volkov, not yet, Alistair Overeem, Kane, Junior Dos Santos, like maybe that, but that's going down.
Yeah,
JDS is ranked number 8, so I mean, there's nobody else except for really Stipe again if they do a rematch and DC.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy man.
Interesting points. Yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about there, but I think we're just gonna have to wait, let the dust settle, see how things play out. I wanted to, yeah. So obviously, I got that one right. I think this is one of the only picks that we differed on. So I want to touch on some of the other fights that we picked. KGB. We'll start from the bottom up. KGB beat Smith. I think we both had KGB in that one. I think it was a good fight, but I kept wondering during the fight, is KGB kind of stagnant? Like, is this like kind of the ceiling for her, or was Ashley Evans Smith just too big and strong? Because it seemed like she was clearly beating her up, but she wasn't doing as much damage as you would think she might.
I think she was doing great and just playing her game, right? I mean, I thought she looked phenomenal. I love watching her fight. Just her movement, her footwork, her head movement. God, that girl. I hope she gets like a ranked fighter soon. Or maybe
Well,
that's what they're doing is just like help like slowly building her up.
yeah, she's an interesting one, and yeah, of course I agree with you. I'm the biggest KGB fan, and it's because of her technique. And yeah, I'm not saying that she didn't do good in the fight. She looked great. The only thing is, I've seen her, really put a hurting on girls before, and maybe I'm thinking too much of her Invicta days. Maybe some of those girls weren't, up to par, so to say. But I know Ashley Evans Smith is tough, but the way that she was going at her, I just thought she would have. I don't know. Maybe she just is tougher than I thought, and those punches didn't affect her. Like in the second round, I thought she might have finished her. She was going hard to the body, going with good combos, but then I started thinking like, is she just too big? Because Ashley Evans Smith came down from bantamweight, and it seemed like although the punches were effective, they weren't like putting the sting on her as she does to some of her opponents. So I guess that's my only
Yeah.
question: is if it's level of competition or if it's a size thing.
Maybe it was just a size thing. I mean, she's improving too, Ashley Evans Smith. But yeah, she is the bigger girl in that during that bout. So, but she got pieced up, man, big time.
Yeah,
And her takedown defense was great.
yeah.
It wasn't always on point, but I mean, she did really well with the girl that's a lot bigger than her. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was a good fight. Good performance for Lee. Interesting to see what happens next.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a good fight, but man, one of the definitely the fight of the night and possibly one of the fights of the year come at the end of 2019 with Vicente Luque and Brian Barberena. Man, this fight was pure insanity. I mean,
I thought it
did
was going to be quick finish, man. I really
yeah,
did. That went to the distance, and wasn't he losing on the scorecards?
I forgot to look at the. I know somebody posted the scorecards, and I forgot to look at them. And I was going to, and it totally. I just lost my train of thought. But I would think that he was losing. Yeah, I mean the first round was interesting because he got knocked down, but then he almost had those submission attempts, and he seemed to be winning. The second round he got pieced up, and the third round it was kind of tit for tat. But then I don't know. It's funny because we both of us picked Luque to win, but I was almost upset when he did win because I was like, man, Barberena was doing so good, and I'm a big Barberena fan. I wasn't mad if he won. That was such a great fight, but I was like, okay, he can't knock him out. Like Luque hits hard, but it's been this long and he can't knock him out. This guy just has another worldly chin, and then what? 6 seconds to go, and
Damn, dude,
that
that's
combo.
crazy.
What I didn't realize till I rewatched it, and then what I didn't realize was I thought it was just like, all right, he's taken enough. His body couldn't take it. But what I noticed is maybe it was luck or maybe he timed it well, but he landed that big punch, kind of rocked his jaw, and then immediately after threw that knee, and the knees will put him down. Then he threw another one which hit him in the body. But I think that's the only reason he put Barberena down. He threw a big punch and then a knee. It's like one strike wasn't gonna do it, so he had to double it up. He couldn't just go with like a 1-2. He had to go with a big right hand and a knee or a kick to put his ass down. But I mean,
That was
it was a good stoppage. But man, he threw everything at that dude.
insane. And I was making fun of Bob Arena. I was like, well, he fought Sage.
And what
There's always going to be some kind of issue with me with fighting a little kid like Sage. Sorry,
and
Sage.
what because he came out to Baby Shark.
Oh, that too. That shit was stuck in my head, man. And I'm like, God, stop. You know how many times I have to listen to that
I
back
was
in the
gonna
day?
say, I'm like, you have a kid. I
Yes.
only heard it. I only heard it like I don't know, going through YouTube one day. So I heard it once, and I was like, man, fuck this song. It just got stuck in my head. But having a kid, I'm sure you hear it all the time.
Man, that little cartoon is playing in my head right now. I've seen it so many times. God damn it. But yeah, it was great though. Man, yeah, good fight, good fight. I can't believe that shit though. Damn.
I
Sorry,
mean,
Arena. I made fun of you.
Justin Gaethje's fighting next month, so that's always the fight of the year. But man, even for him, this is gonna be tough to top. It's gonna have to be a real war because that one broke all kinds of records with the strike count and everything. Man, I love that. I've always loved Brian Barberena, and I like Vicente Luque, but I became big fans of it. Like I would never miss one of their fights now, both of
Right?
them. So,
Right?
yeah,
Got their stock went up big time. Good
yeah,
fight.
and oh, your boy Flatter's Kron, he got the win. I'm not gonna let that shit go, man. Ever, 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 ever.
I I tried to listen one of the videos he had that he was like starting to talk about it, and I just had to quickly turn it off. I'm like, no, you're the prince of BJJ. Don't talk like that. No.
he's he's so intelligent in that art, and you do have to be a smart guy to be to be that good at jujitsu. But that part of his brain with the gravity and physics and shit, he just doesn't get it. But
So I'm like, what the hell? Like,
I just trip out that the media doesn't call him out on it more because in the political realm and in other things, we flat earthers are the butt of everyone's joke. But yeah, having that last name Gracie gives you a certain kind of immunity, I guess. But man, he looked great against Caceres. That I don't know what I was more impressed by, that like push off the fence. He like kicked, he kicked off the fence to bring him down, or when he does that weird kind of like a half Nelson where he like swims over your arm to get your back. Yeah, I was like, man, that was so impressive.
dude, I feel bad for Bruce Leroy, the gatekeeper.
Hey, you know what? I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he gets good paydays, but I've never had a problem with guys like that. Those guys that win one, lose one, win two, lose one, win two, lose two. Like, there's a place for those guys. I don't think there's a insult in being called the gatekeeper because
Yeah.
you have a day job. Like, I mean, there's guys. I mean, we didn't talk about this last week, but look at Henan Barrow. He got knocked the fuck out this last weekend, and he was a champion. It's like, well, look
Oh
where he's at
God,
now.
that's right. I forgot about that. How sad.
And there's a lot of people like that. And I mean, him and Hendricks are like the worst examples. But yeah, there's plenty of dudes who were champions and then they just started falling off, or they were contenders and
Yeah.
they just started falling off. It's like, hey, it's good if you're like a top five guy, but there's no shame. And hey, I get a paycheck. I fight every couple, three,
Good.
4 times a year and make decent money.
Right. Yeah, you're right on that. And that choke was tight too. And he didn't like immediately tap or anything. So yeah, he hung in there. He tried. I can see like the look, like his face, like he didn't
Yeah.
want to, but he had to. At eventually. So yeah, that was a good debut for Kron. So
And
he's been in the UFC now. He's in the UFC. He fought in one, and then he fought in Ryzen too. So he's been in like the three big promotions now.
he fought in one.
I think so. I gotta look
I
it up.
I know he had 2 fights in Ryzen. He's like 4 or 5-0. I think he fought in Korea. I don't know for what promotion, but I know he did the Ryzen thing. Yeah, I don't know. He said when he came in that he wanted a tougher fight than Bruce Leroy. I mean, he's definitely gonna get one now. I don't know. I'm not saying they should bring him along slowly, but I think they should take incrementally. Like, okay, you took out a well-rounded guy. Okay, now you got to take out a striker. Okay, now you got to take out a wrestler. So I think a good next fight for him would be maybe someone like Michael Johnson.
Ooh,
Because Johnson, and then here's the thing about Johnson.
dude.
People, I don't know, he's a gatekeeper of sorts, but he's also beat Tony Ferguson and Edson
Yeah,
Barboza.
yeah. That's going to be an interesting fight. It
Yeah,
should be a
so
good one.
he can beat anybody. His record's not that great, but if you look at the people he has beat, Dustin
Yeah,
Poirier knocked him the fuck out. Like, I mean, the people that he's beat, it's like, damn, how did you beat these guys? And all of a sudden, in the next fight, he looks like shit. So that's one of those fights. Like, if you could take care of that guy, you could be onto something.
he was tough against Khabib too, right?
Well, he hurt him. Well,
Yeah, he was
yeah,
a tough opponent. So
I
he's
guess
game, man. He's a game fighter.
he technically did better than Connor if you want to go that far.
Yes.
Right?
I was trying to kind of like making that point. Like he's a tough guy, but yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe I should just let it go with all this cussing and shit talk, huh?
what? Yes, yes. Don't worry, just be you. Be you,
Just
Hango.
fire away.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how where Kron goes from here. Calvillo versus Casey. Calvillo got the decision. That we both thought she was gonna sub her, but she put on a good boxing performance. It wasn't the greatest fight, but looking back at it, Calvillo knows the basics and she knows them pretty well. I don't think she's ever gonna be a powerful girl. I don't think she's ever gonna be knocking girls out, but she's getting there. She's at least has enough to where she can hold her own in the striking realm. And if her wrestling gets a little bit better, she's going to be tough as all hell. So Calvillo got that one. And then the co-main, Felder and Vic, that was a crazy fight. Just the fact that, I mean, they were going at it. They both got beat up, but then Felder apparently punctured his lung in the third round and still went on to win a decision, a hard fought decision. But before I let you speak, Rena, I just wanted to say I wanted to talk shit to the, especially the Mexicans, being that it was in Arizona, the fucking Mexicans booing during. I understand the Calvillo fight a little bit; it wasn't all that, but then they were booing during this Felder Vic fight, and I didn't understand that at all, man. Fucking Mexicans just drinking too much, waiting for Kane. They just marked out. That was so upsetting. It was a really good fight, and maybe they just got spoiled by Barberena and Luque too. But I had to call them out for that shit, man. I'm in LA. I'm in LA. We're notorious for bad crowds, but that was bad even for me.
They don't want to see a ginger fight.
Well, yet they like Canelo.
He's a different kind of Mexican.
Oh, just because he speaks Spanish.
So funny, man. That's crazy, though. He punctured his lung. God damn. He's such an animal.
Yeah, and I didn't even think he was breathing hard. I mean, obviously, yeah, he was breathing hard. He went through a hard fight, but it didn't look like he was about to fall over and die. Just as a quick anecdote, I remember in high school, I had a friend who had a punctured lung, and I was actually with him. Nothing happened to him. I guess it was just I don't know, just a freak accident. We were just in class, and I just remember him like hunched over the desk all the whole class, and finally went to the nurse like, I think I need to go home. And I didn't see him for like 2 weeks after that because he had a punctured lung. But he was like huffing and puffing and like just about to pass out. And this dude fought 5 minutes like that, man. Maybe more. Who knows if he heard it in the second round or something? But he fought a whole third round like that. That's unbelievable.
Crazy, man. Good for him.
Yeah. Well, ESPN's debut. UFC's debut on ESPN went pretty well. People complain about the Kane fight and everything, but shit happens. Shit happens with the fragile Mexican. So you can't put your money on that guy. People, man, I've had so much people thinking that I'm racist and all this. Like, hey, man, and I love some of these fighters too. But when you look at it, fucking Kane, Dominic Cruz, Alexa Grasso, Yair Rodriguez, they're delicate people, man. What can I do? They're still tougher than me, but they tend to get into it a lot. I don't know why that is.
That shit's so funny.
So it's okay to clown on your own. I'm grateful to be a minority in that sense. So I will keep doing it. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna preview the ESPN Plus card this weekend. Prague, first UFC event in sorry, I was about to call it Czechoslovakia. The Czech Republic. Slovakia got seceded. The country got divided. So Czech Republic fight in Prague, first time ever. It's not the most exciting card on paper, but there's a few matchups that we thought were interesting. One of the first fights actually in the early prelims, Rustam Khabilov versus Diego Ferreira. Man, this is a real sleeper fight. They're both lightweights. Lightweight's a really good division, and not a lot of people are talking or even recognizing this guy. Rustam Khabilov's on a 6-fight win streak, and he's been undefeated for 3 years. And Ferreira is coming off of 3 wins in a row, but he's had some long layoffs. But he's looked real good, especially in his last 2 fights. This is just an interesting matchup because they're both decent strikers, but their bread and butter's on the ground. Khabilov with his wrestling and Ferreira with his jiu-jitsu. I'll let you start here, Rain. What do you think? Which one do you think wins out here?
I don't know with this one yet. I'm still trying to think because they're kind of like evenly matched for me. I mean, man.
Yeah, they have similarities, and then where they differ, it's kind of like that guy's strong suit is this person's weak point, but vice versa and whatnot. So I think Ferreira, I think is more powerful. He's knocked a few more people down. He's even knocked some people out with his striking. Yeah. Khabilov hasn't really done that. And then obviously his jiu-jitsu is really good, but I think Khabilov can neutralize him with his wrestling if he decides to use it. I think I'm just gonna go with Khabilov here just because of his win streak. He's learning how to win decisions. I think he can make it slower, not play Ferreira's game, but yeah, if he gets dropped and submitted in a round, I also wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, he is an all-around dangerous fighter. I think I have to go with the same pick. It's just so tough because, oh man. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it as is. Oh.
All right,
That,
so two for
that's gonna be
Kabilov.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's gonna be a fun fight.
it's for sure gonna be a coin flip of a fight though. It sucks not a lot of people are gonna see it because I think this could be on the main card, but
Dude, you need to
whatever.
see it. You know, Kabalov, like, he fought a young Jorge Masvidal and Yancy Medeiros back in the day, too, and beat those guys. So he's been around for a long time.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
Dude.
yes. I think he wheel kicked Masvidal. Yeah, I remember that was like his second UFC fight. Yeah, I remember that now. I
Hmm.
totally forgot about that. That was a while ago.
Yeah, so you gotta watch him, man. It's a good fight.
Yeah, yeah. And then another fight, Jillian Robertson, Veronica Macedo. I don't know, this fight, obviously being a WMMA nerd, it's not
It's
the
not
greatest.
WMMA, sir.
I know, but that's my it's I just say that. I honestly don't even really like saying it. It's just because it's a niche thing, you know. It's not as a disrespect. It's just as a I tend to like the women more than the men's fights sometimes, and I'll follow every female fighter, and that's not exactly what I could say for the men. Just because there's less of them, you know, but this is just an interesting fight because Robertson's a jiu-jitsu girl, Macedo's a striker, but Macedo hasn't looked good in her UFC run, and Jillian Robertson doesn't have the greatest record, but she submitted Molly McCann, who's not the greatest fighter, but she was pretty good in Europe, and then she submitted Emily Whitmire, who actually just won this past weekend. She just beat Alexandra Albu, so I was kind of counting her out, but now that I see who she beat, it's actually not that bad of a record. But I don't know if Macedo will ever be what we thought she was going to be when she came in the UFC, because she was that girl who had that viral head kick. I don't know who the opponent was. It was like in South America or something, but it was a violent kick. I'm sure everyone listening to this has seen it at one point or another.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Robertson because I love her nickname, the Savage.
Is that her nickname?
Yeah, the Savage. And she came up here, I think, was it back in 2016? The Jackson Rancheria. She fought a young Cynthia Calvillo at a global knockout and took her to the distance. She lost that fight, but still took her to the distance. So yeah,
I wasn't aware of that. That's yeah. They were early in their careers, but that is a good that's
yeah,
some good experience.
yeah. Check her out because she's been all around fighting. So and then yeah, Macedo, like, she's fought Andrea Lee and Ashley Evans Smith, so she's had it tough ever since entering the UFC. And I think in this fight too, she's the smaller girl by height and reach. So yeah, it's gonna be nasty. I'm gonna pick Robertson for the win.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with Robertson as well, only because it seems like she's more trustworthy. Macedo can knock her into oblivion, I guess. I guess she is a good striker. Even in the KGB Lee fight, she gave her all she could handle. KGB mostly won that fight because of her wrestling, but I don't know. I think she doesn't mind her p's and q's. She could get submitted if she goes to the ground, and I wouldn't be surprised if she gets a little overzealous and gets an arm or her neck caught up in something. So yeah, I guess we can go with Robertson there too. So two for her. Next up though, this should be a really interesting fight. Peter Yan and John Dodson. Yan seems to be the future. Wild man, crazy, crazy techniques. And then Dodson is known for his athletic, explosive, spinning, flying techniques and shit. I mean, if all goes well, this should be just some acrobatic shit. But I have a feeling that Yan just might have his way with him. Because people forget too, he's a really good wrestler. And if you don't remember that, just look at his last fight when he took out. Oh man, his name escapes me. Brazilian guy. Oh, his name's escaping me right now. But the guy with the extreme mullet, but he beat the shit out of him, and it was mostly with his wrestling. So Dodson's a hard guy to take down, but I think whether it's on the ground or striking, he should be able to take a decision here.
You're picking Dodson?
No, Jan.
Oh, okay.
Sorry
I
if I didn't
misunderstood you. Okay.
reiterate. Yeah, I probably didn't mention it, but yeah, Jan.
Okay. Yeah. I'm the same way too with this pick because I mean Dodson's been teeter tottering ever since he got back to bantamweight. So he hasn't been really looking good. And then Jan, he's on a 6 fight win streak. He's a fucking monster. He's only 26 years old. He's still a young guy.
Damn.
And he fought what, 3 times last year?
Yeah.
So he's 3-0 still. Like,
Also took out your boy Ishihara.
yeah, so he's killing Asians, man. Man, so I got goddamn Russians. It's all sarcasm, people. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Yan on this one.
Yeah. Oh, and I just saw the guy he beat up that I can't remember his name. Douglas Silva de Andrade, the extreme mullet guy. Yeah, he beat the shit out of him. I mean, his corner had to stop that fight just because they didn't want to see anymore, which was a good thing for once. But yeah, Jan looks unstoppable right now. So you think it'll go a decision too, or you think he can actually take him out?
Man, Dodson's tough, so probably all the way. Yeah, this is gonna be probably a test for him. So, but I think it's still gonna be for the win.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
An agreement there. Also, another women's fight. Lucy Pudilova versus Liz Carmouche. This is a really interesting fight regarding the rankings and stuff. This Pudilova's going down to flyweight, so we'll see how the weight cut affects her. But the other thing is that I believe she's the only fighter in the UFC from the Czech Republic. So she basically has the weight of her country on for this one because I think she's the only Czech fighter on the card. She had a fight of the year contender with Irene Aldana last year. Held her own. I mean, it was a very, very close fight. She just kind of lost because of Aldana's volume. But Liz Carmouche has been looking good too, and she took out my girl Jennifer Maia, man. Good fight, but she took her decision. Former Invicta Flyweight champion, so that's a good scalp for her. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I think I'm gonna pick Pudilova for the win. I know it's a lot for her going down in weight and in her home country, but I think if she keeps up her striking like she was doing in the Aldana fight, if she puts that pressure on her, she can fluster Carmouche.
See, I'm gonna go with the vet. I'm gonna go with Carmouche. She's gonna be like all over her. She's gonna take her down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen her wrestling tested too much, but I mean, she is a big girl and she's very violent. So I'm hoping that can get it done. But I do see your point. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But
Yeah.
maybe if she is that big and she wears a size well, maybe it'll be tough for Carmouche to take her down as well. It's just one of those wait and see type things.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting fight for sure. But it's good to see Carmouche back in the mix again.
Yeah, she's been doing good. She lost to Alexis Davis, but yeah, she's had some good wins in at flyweight. I think she's better here than at bantamweight, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to see, but or got to see how Pudilova's gonna look because that's still still an unknown right now. Moving on, main event: Jan Blankovic versus Thiago Santos. This is a really interesting fight, and it's the dichotomy of Jan Blankovic, who's like very workmanlike and very technical, nothing flashy about him, against Thiago Santos, who's all capoeira kicks and jumping head kicks and wheel kicks and just throwing everything with reckless abandon. It was hard for me to pick this fight, but once I started looking at more tape, I'm just gonna go with Blankovic. I think I'm even gonna go for him to finish him. I think I'm gonna go with like a third round submission. I think the more I saw, Thiago Santos is very good, and he's been looking very good at light heavyweight. But looking at his past opponents on this recent run he's fought a bunch of athletic, hard hitting dudes, and he's beat them with his jab and his wrestling. And being the wild man that Thiago Santos is, I think he's gonna go balls to the wall, and he'll probably have like a good first round. But I think slowly but surely, Jan Blankovic is gonna pepper him up with that jab. Probably even drop him because he does have pretty good power. And then if it goes to the floor, I think he's gonna take him out. I think he's gonna submit him.
Damn. No, I'm going with Santos on this one.
I'm
No,
not,
man.
I'm not asking your pick. It's just like you got to go with the wild man.
Yeah, because I picked Manuel last time
Yeah,
against him, and
you did.
man, I regretted that one big time. So I'm never gonna pick against him again. He's just been really looking scary. Majority of his fights have been finishes, devastating ones. He has scary power. And one of his sponsors is actually following us on I Fought with Juice IG
Really?
account,
Who's that?
the Diesel Diva.
Oh, I didn't know that was a sponsor.
Yeah, she's an awesome lady. So I can't go against that team. Loyalty first.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Peace Through Sports, Diesel Diva. Check out her site. She's been all around, so check
Shout
her
out
out.
to her.
Yep.
Shout out to her. Yeah, yeah, I totally see your point, but I don't know. Part of me is also maybe I'm not the biggest Blankovic fan, but I respect his work ethic. I like those workman-like guys. I usually go against the athletic type. That's why, like I said earlier with Barberina, I was so happy to see him because he's like the opposite of an athlete. And Luke, I mean, just look at him. You know, the body, the power. You know, he's got it going out for him. But it was cool seeing a guy like Barberina, fucking dad bod, mohawk and shit, taking out this dude who looks like an Olympic athlete. You know, so yeah, I think I might have some bias with Blankovic there too. But looking at his record, like man, he beat up Cannonier, he beat up Manoa. He's taking on these guys who hit hard and who are very athletic. So since Santos fits that mold, I think he's gonna take him out.
Yeah, I try to look at it from a high level and how long they've both been in, and but no, man, I can't go against him. Plus, his power is just scary. No, I messed up last time, so no,
I get,
I,
I,
I don't want that smoke. I'm good.
I get it. I respect it. All right. Well, that's our preview. We're gonna move on to some news. Before I do that, I want to give a shout out for the tweet of the week. Tweet of the week goes to Middle Easy at Middle Easy. I guess some of you won't be surprised with my Khabib hate, but I was just surprised someone is in alignment with me. It tweeted, "I love when Khabib tweets about someone earning his respect or his honor or integrity. The guy literally deserves zero respect as a person. A fantastic fighter, but the worst piece of shit. A half a step above Greg Hardy in the human trash rankings." A lot of people got upset at that one, but I've been saying something of a similar tone for months. And some people have gone along with it now that they see like the how he treats women who want to fight and things like that. I think Connor did have a point that he's from a backwards culture and country, but I don't know. People also think that this is just a Connor nut writer too, but I tend to agree with it. But speaking of Khabib, he's kind of has something to do with a big news story that just happened this morning. Actually, GSP officially announced his retirement from MMA, and it seems like part of the reason that he did is that he wanted to fight Khabib, and it just didn't come to fruition. We were talking off air, and it seems like you think GSP is kind of wishy-washy, and you don't fully take this at face value. Do you think it's just a negotiating tactic, or you just think he's just not into it as much as he makes it out to be?
I have like part of me wants to believe that it is a tactic. It's just they're playing games right now.
Don't you think it'd be incredibly petty and kind of uncharacteristic of GSP to call a press conference, tell, Montreal press and the UFC, oh, I got this big announcement to make, and then it'll be all for nothing, just like, oh, psych, I just wanted more money and I just wanted a big fight type thing?
I thought of that too because he's not like that person at all. He doesn't really like the light, right? He doesn't like all that attention.
Yeah, I mean, his
So
his least favorite thing about fighting is fighting, so yeah, and then he's not Mayweather. He's not this guy who wants the money and the fame. He just likes the competition and the well, not to be corny, but yeah, the honor and respect of martial arts.
yeah, but this is another way to generate a lot of eyes, right, to this possible fight because a lot of the youngins, the Conor era, around the Rousey fans, they don't really know GSP. Of course they know Khabib because he beat Conor, so there's that. But to generate more revenue, then I mean, this is a good move if they are playing it like this. But I don't know, just the way he was talking in the press conference, it just doesn't seem like legit to me. He's playing around with it. I mean, if you're really gonna retire, just say it, man. Like, don't, because we've seen this before. I'm done. Okay, I want to come back. I want to fight, Bisping.
Well, remember, and I mean, I guess it just goes of how much you believed him, but it was after the Hendricks fight. He said he was going to hang up his gloves for a little bit, and that was very cryptic. And he was like, "All right, I mean, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 10 years, who the hell knows?" And then what? Like 2 months later, a month or two later, he was saying, "Oh well, I'm gonna relinquish the belt because I have no desire to fight in the immediate future. And then what? It ended up being 4 years. Yeah, 4 years from when he fought Hendricks to when he fought Bisping. But I mean, he can't wait 4 years now. He can't. I think he really is done. I don't think it'd be like I said. I don't think it'd be in his character to go this far. I think if for some reason the UFC gets desperate and they're like, well, fuck it, we'll pay you whatever you want. Khabib's willing to do it. They go for it. I'm sure he will come back, but I don't know. Even when he said that after the Hendricks fight, I said I'm like, I don't know how long this is gonna take, but I think he has 2 fights in him max after this. He'll probably come back to like regain the belt and then maybe go up in weight or fight Anderson or something like that. But I never thought he had much left even after the Hendricks fight. So I guess he just cut it down by one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like, what if there's more money thrown at him under their table because of Khabib's relationship with those guys over there?
With Taco Bell Aziz.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy, man.
And the other friends.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he has connections.
Yeah. So man, who knows, man? Fight game is interesting for sure.
Yeah, I will just, I guess for the sake of argument right now, we'll just say that he's for sure retired and this is it for him. I'd brought it up to you once I heard of this. Is there any? I feel that he's the GOAT, and I asked you, and it seems like you agree. If MMA ended today or tomorrow, I think given the record, the people he's fought, what he accomplished, I think he is the GOAT. I know this has been, the last year or two. It seems like, oh, somebody wins the belt, they're the new GOAT. They become champ, they're the new GOAT. But really thinking about it hard and objectively, I think GSP is the guy. Um, he doesn't have the most title defenses in the UFC. Demetrius holds that record, and even Anderson surpassed him. But he's not the only champ. But if you look at the people he's fought, I mean, it's a who's who. And then most of them, he did. I know some of his fights were boring. I get that, but the way he took people out was very interesting. He out wrestled Josh Koscheck in the first fight, but then decided to box with him in the second fight. A lot of people thought that he would just wrestle the shit out of Condit, but he ended up striking with him a lot and even got dropped, which a lot of people thought the fight was over at that point, but he got back up and still won the round, went to war with him. Um, Thiago Alves, he struck a lot with Thiago Alves. He did take him down a lot, but he did a lot of kickboxing in that fight. The BJ Penn rematch. A lot of people thought he lost the first one, but he came back and he beat the shit out of him in the second one. The Matt Hughes one, I still to this day, and I think I'll always maintain this. Well, it's very impressive that he lost to Matt Hughes the first time, beat him the second time, and then in the third time in the rubber match, he ended up armbarring him, which is the same way that he lost to him in the first fight. But the second fight, I think, might be the most impressive performance in MMA history. Matt Hughes took everyone down at that time. He couldn't get taken down, and then he head kicked him and elbowed him into oblivion to win the title. And then he lost to Matt Serra, but then he beat the shit out of Serra again. So I think, given his record, I do think he's the GOAT.
Yeah, I agree because I was thinking about it and I'm like, no, Anderson Silva tarnished his legacy.
The ties.
Yeah, damn.
Ties always ruin everything.
Yeah, tie blue vial. God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
John Joe's same thing, but
again the ties. That might have been the Chinese, those rhino dick pills. I don't know reliable sources.
Goddamn gas stations.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just his body of work, like you said, like he's the best, hands down.
And shout outs to well, I know this is more of the UFC thing, but GSP, of like all the prime times they did, he was like in like 95% of them. And to you newbies out there, if you guys really missed out if you guys never saw UFC prime time. There was something else, man. They got you so psyched, and there was usually 3 episodes, 3 weeks before the fight, and week after week you look forward to them, and by the last one you're like, I can't wait. I remember those some where I had trouble sleeping because I just kept thinking about the possibilities of how good the fight would be. I remember I think what was it? Yeah, it didn't turn out to be a great fight, but like the fight with him and Shields, I was like, man, this is gonna be good. And then obviously Condit, being my favorite fighter. They had a countdown for that one too. They're playing Lives lightning crashes and the finishing sequence. I still remember that shit. That was dope, man. I really wish they'll bring it back. I know UFC said it cost too much money and they didn't see the return on the investment, but for geeks like me, I love that type of shit, man. I love build up. People always talk about 24/7 like HBO, and even they're not doing it anymore. Well, they're not even doing boxing anymore, but I still think the best prime times were better than the best 24/7s. But I don't think we're ever gonna see that day. But man, I miss him.
Yeah, I'm just looking at all his like awards and stuff like that. Might have to go back and watch some of these fights again, especially UFC 100.
Yeah, it's a very underrated performance him against Alves.
Yeah,
Looking back at some of this stuff, though, I think I want to see him and Condit again. I watched that fight a few times after it happened, but it's been a while since I've watched it back. That was a great fight.
yeah. It's sad people do make fun of him, but he had some amazing performances. So yeah, if it's over, then let's just let him go and bye GSP.
I know a lot of people gave GSP hate that like, oh, he became champion and became boring, but I think he's one of the reasons of why I respect when people can fight boring. Like Condit's a great example of that. People to this day hate him for the Nick Diaz fight because of the whole running thing, and that's not the fight we thought it was gonna be. But to me, I respected him even more after that day. I'm like, well, he's smart. If he has to fight a different way, he can do it. He's not gonna brawl just to brawl. Like if there's a route to victory, he'll take it, and I respect that. And that's what GSP did better than everybody. So I wasn't always thrilled with his fights, but I always did give him that respect, even when others didn't want to. Some of the fights are rough, especially the Jake Shields fight and the Nick Diaz fight in a way, but um, no one did it better. He's the one that became like the most well-rounded at the earliest stage and came up with the best game plan. So people got to give him respect even just for that. The GSP, you're the goat, and who knows when it'll be overtaken. But he's got a really, really good resume. It's gonna stand up against almost anybody.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, he came back and fought at a higher weight.
And I know some people said that Bisping was like a good style matchup. And I guess because he won, you could say that he was, but he was so much bigger than GSP. And I mean, Bisping's not like the hardest hitter, but you saw even when he was jabbing him up, like, damn, those were hurting GSP. The size difference was very noticeable. And yet he dropped him, almost knocked him out, elbowed him, and then choked him unconscious. Like, I don't know how much more impressive you can get from that.
Right? And he looked bloated and pregnant. Like that wasn't normal for him to be looking like that in the octagon.
Yeah, that's the one time he didn't really look fit, and yeah, he didn't look fat, but yeah, he looked bloated. He looked yeah, he looked like they just inflated him. It was weird, but obviously we know now that he was having some health issues.
Man, yeah, he's the goat. I mean, Bisping is tough as hell too. So to win another belt, take his belt, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good segue. Former middleweight champion Michael Bisping lost the belt to GSP, and then the belt eventually went to Robert Whitaker for beating Romero and him relinquishing the belt. But now he's hurt again, and now they're making an interim title. UFC announced this week that Kelvin Gastelum is going to fight Israel Adesanya for an interim belt in April at UFC 236. Yes, 236. No venue, no location yet. Not sure what they're gonna do there. They only have a few fights booked on that. But well, what do you think of the turnaround, Rina? Gaslam obviously didn't fight. They were both supposed to fight in the last pay per view, and only Israel did. But what do you think about Kelvin going all the way to Australia, cutting weight, doing the whole deal, not fighting, going away with that? That frustration, and then Adesanya, he didn't get beat up by Anderson or anything, but he still fought a 3-round decision to him. You think it's too soon, or do you think it doesn't matter, or do you think Gastelum might have an advantage since he didn't fight at all?
See, Dirty Bird is sketchy, man.
Yes, for those who probably just joining us, Dirty Bird is the official nickname for Kelvin Gastelum. That's all Reen right there, but he doesn't have a nickname, so we gave him one.
Yeah, just go watch the weigh-ins. You'll know why. But yeah, Dirty Bird, he's so sketchy with things. I just don't know if this is going to be a good matchup for Izzy or not. Because, God, man, he's such a bigger guy. Wrestling, grappling. We still don't know what's up with that. I don't know if it's too soon or not. I mean, if he pulls it off, this is going to be amazing. Yeah, he'll set up a fight with Whitaker, but now you got to go up against another monster. So, man, I don't know, because I'm a big Izzy fan. So I don't want him. I don't want them to like build him up too much and then see him fall. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. I'm not mad at this fight at all. I mean, it's a good fight, just in general. But I'm not mad at this fight, even for Israel, even though I'm a fan too, because Anderson is a legend. Anderson obviously did good, but he's not a top 10 guy anymore. He hasn't really fought any top 10 guys besides Brunson. Usually you fight at least two, a top 10 guy and a top 5 guy before you get to the title shot. So this is a really good matchup as far as the rankings and all that go. But my knee jerk reaction, I think Gastelum takes it. The wrestling obviously is a factor, and I know Israel's way bigger, but that's kind of the reason why I'm also picking Gastelum, because I see these kind of fights when it's a short, stocky wrestler against a tall, skinny guy. It seems like it's almost easier for them to get takedowns, and I kind of just have a feeling what he did to Uriah Hall in the tough finale is what he might do to Israel.
But he did. He looked good against Derek Brunson. So there's that. But
Derek Brunson also leads with his chin and propels himself into people's fists.
hey, he tried his best to take him down. So we know that his takedown defense is pretty good. It's pretty up there, for a stand-up guy, a striker, a pure striker. So yeah, it's going to be interesting regardless. And if he takes this belt, damn, it's going to be fucking amazing. It's going to be on.
Well, and this is, people have complained about interim titles for a while now, but this one's actually legit. Whitaker might be back in the summer. He might be back in the winter. He might be back next year. Who knows? Because that is a severe injury, and even if everything's on schedule, you never know. He can have one workout, and hernia. Sometimes they pop out again. So
Oh
we
yeah,
don't obviously we don't want any of that to happen, but it's very possible.
I'm glad they didn't strip him. I'm so glad they didn't do that. Okay, I don't really agree with this fight, this interim fight, but I'm glad that they didn't strip Robert Whitaker. I'm so glad they didn't do that.
And I mean, he's done his job to the best of his ability. I know. Like I was saying earlier, there's Kane and Dom. There's these injury-prone people. But some of those guys, it's like you probably train a little too hard, kind of on you. Whitaker doesn't strike me that kind of guy. I think he's just had really bad luck fighting Romero 2 times in a row. That's gonna fuck you up.
Oh my God,
And
exactly.
and then this was kind of like a freak accident, so that's not really his fault. This is kind of similar. You bring up a good point, though. You're right. Like I hear that oh, good thing they didn't strip him, but at the same time they stripped Tony Ferguson for a freak accident. That wasn't his fault.
I was just thinking that meme, like, but did you die?
I
I'm
always
sorry.
think I always think of Michelle Waterson. She does an impression of that of her mom, of her thick Asian accent with her mom. She would always tell her that. So that's what I always think of when I hear that.
Yeah, I don't know why that popped up, like stripping him, like, but did you die? Yeah, so hopefully he'll come back. I don't know. They're targeting July, I think, his team, but man, don't come back too soon.
Yeah, don't push it. Just, I mean, don't take your time, I guess. But yeah, don't push it. There's got to be a balance somewhere. But yeah. So that was a big fight announced this week. Um, Rose Namajunas, she's gonna fight Jessica Andrade in May in Brazil. That's been announced for a few weeks now, but it it's just been reported that she was talking to Ariel Hawani, and she said that this really surprised me that she's the one that called for that fight to be in Brazil. I was shocked when it first came out. I'm like, damn, she's really gonna go to Brazil. You know, she's weird with crowds, and she could get a little triggered. No disrespect, but just it's the proper word. And she decided to do that, and now it turns out that she's the one that asked for it, which I think says a lot of her mindset. I know she'd had these issues with people were even making fun of her because of the Connor thing, the whole Dolly incident. She was in the bus and she was saying that almost like she had PTSD from that. But to go to Brazil with those fucking crazy people in the stadium, nonetheless, against an animal like Andrade, that's gonna be, man. I can't give her enough respect. That's really saying something. That's definitely a championship's mindset.
I'm so glad she's coming back. Finally, we get to see her again and against Little Borg. So this is going to be a fun fight.
That's another re nickname for Andrade, and very fitting too.
I
Yeah,
love her. I love them both, but
I
damn,
know.
damn, for her to go down there and do this, man, she really wants to come back, huh? Come back with a bang.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't know what else to say after that. I mean, it says a lot about her mindset. Like, if she's trying to get over some demons like that, like, Jesus,
Man, she'll
that's
be
going.
praying. She'll be praying again.
Well, I don't. I never liked her chances against Andrade, and I want her to win, and I'll be happy if she wins. But yeah, she may need some help here because Andrade has some ungodly power, and just I don't know. I don't think she's gonna be flustered by anything Namajunas throws her way. So
No, man, she's gonna keep moving forward. That girl is
yeah,
so tough.
yeah, can't wait for that. That should be fun. Also on that card though, another fight got announced a few days ago. UFC 237 in Brazil. Anderson Silva is coming back already against Jared Cannonier, and this fight is weird to me, but also very intriguing. This is not an easy fight. I mean, Israel wasn't an easy fight. We thought Anderson was going to get starched. Looking back at it, I guess we should have said, well, Israel's a very good striker, but he doesn't really knock people dead. Cannonier does though, and he's much bigger, much stronger. Maybe not as technical, but man, this is dangerous. And I don't know. I just kind of get this feeling like I don't know if Anderson just did this because he wanted to fight and just because it's in Brazil, or if maybe he has something else down the pipe, or maybe he's planning a retirement, or if he really wants to get back into title contention. What do you think this fight says, Rain? What do you think it says about Anderson's future, or what he may intend to do?
Well, when I originally saw this, like on paper, it looks like it's like a gimme fight almost for Silva.
Wow, really?
To me, it was because just the way he looked, during his fight with Izzy, I mean, he looked kind of like the old Anderson, just the way he was moving around the cage and whatnot. So, I mean, if he can go in there with the same confidence and same movement, and I mean, it just felt like it's going to be like an easy fight or something. But at the same time, though, it's like, damn, this is 50-50, man. Like, he could get knocked out and get really hurt with this one. So,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know. I mean, okay, let's say he wins in the most spectacular fashion, first round, flying knee, head kick type shit. I mean, obviously it'd be great for him. He'd be happy in Brazil. The crowd will be ecstatic. But I mean, what do you think that post fight interview looks like? Is it just like I'm back and I'm coming for that belt, or is it just, or am I done, or I mean, I just wanted to get one good win in before I call it quits. Like, do you think he's even thinking of retirement?
that's normal. I'll be back. I think I mean, who knows what he's thinking, man? Like, maybe that fight and with Izzy just boosted his confidence again. Who knows what he I think he has a long contract anyways, right? So he might just continue to fight. Who knows? But
I I
Anderson
know
surprises me all the time. I don't want him to fight, but he's a fighter, man. He's a warrior, so
I know he's gonna be emotional any which way because I mean been a while since he fought in Brazil, and this is where he was brought up in Curitiba. This is shoot the box, this is where he learned to fight basically. But and I don't think he's ever fought there. But I just hope, fuck the weigh-ins. I hope he walks into the octagon crying, and hopefully he makes Jared Cannonier cry, and then just handles business from there. Just uses his emotions as a as a as a fight tactic.
right? Yeah, I want him to do his thing and just walk off and just say I'm retiring. It would be a perfect place to do it. Great headlines, great story, all that. Just walk away.
Yeah, because I mean, realistically, I'm sure he thinks he can do anything, but I don't know that. Robert Whitaker is an animal, and I'm sure he'd beat him. But forget Whitaker, just to get to the title, unless they give him like an easy fight. I mean, he already lost to Weidman. Weidman's probably not who he once was, but he's up there. Rockholds, if he stays there, I don't think he'd beat him. Romero, no way. Just some of these animals. I mean, Gastelum, I don't think he beats these guys. So I think this would be the easiest and the best way to go about it. But as you said, he's a fighter. Who knows what's going on in his mind, and he's he's just a weird guy. I always thought Anderson's been a weird dude, so it's really tough to know what's going on in that dome of his, that shiny bald head of his.
Yeah, seriously. Hopefully he'll have like a huge press conference too, and just have this huge retirement announcement and party, and just just have all the blue tie vial whatever he was sucking on and do his thing with his lady, and just have a good time. Don't worry about cutting weight or worry about fighting any monsters at that. Jesus. Just go have fun.
And then at the end of the press conference, Dana comes like, "Oh, by the way, do you want to fight Connor?" And then that
Oh
fight gets
man.
fucked because it's MMA and stupid shit like that happens.
God damn it. Why'd you gotta ruin it for me?
And this is we've seen this long enough, Rain. I mean, we're abused spouses at this point. That's how it is with MMA. It's just we. I think he loves us. You know, that's what our relationship with the sport is usually. So I got to bring you down.
Yeah, just keeping it real. I know. Thank you for that.
Anytime. Okay. So usually at this point we say that's it for MMA and go into a news story. We are going into a news story, and technically it's not MMA, but it is combat sports related. This is in the boxing world, and this is in well, proximity to Reen's homeland because she is Okinawan, not Japanese. But this did take place in Japan. Boxer Sankei Shimbun, I believe that is how that's pronounced. Am I saying that right, Reen?
Yes, you're doing
Sankei
good.
Shimbun. Okay, I'm gonna come to you with confirmation with some of these. Sankei Shimbun was arrested because he beat somebody to death with a remote. Okay, I'm sorry for laughing. We're not being cruel. It's just a matter of the way that in the manner that this happened. It's so cartoonish. He beat another dude to death with a remote control for a karaoke machine. The craziest thing about this is not, well, the dumbest thing about this is that the whole confrontation happened because there was a dispute over the volume of the karaoke machine. They got in an argument, they fought, and the dude got the control and beat the other guy to death. But the weirdest thing about this is that it's not the first time that this has happened. It wasn't with a boxer, but there was a sumo wrestler uh, in 2017 who beat a guy to death, not just with a karaoke remote, beat him with a microphone, a beer bottle, and an ashtray. So I guess this is just how they get down in Japan. This would be a really tragic story, and it is in a way, but it's just so ridiculous and cartoonish. It's hard not to laugh.
I don't get it either, because those snack bars, snackbaru, I'll pronounce it right. That's how they pronounce it. Um, it's not quiet, man. There's like girls at each table. They're giggling and laughing and flirting. It's gonna be loud, right? And I guess this guy got mad because it was too loud or something. There's karaoke going on. So if you wanted to be in a quiet environment, go to a fucking library, man. Like I don't understand why he had the need to even like grab this remote control and beat the hell out of this kid or this guy or whoever it is. Especially with him being a boxer too. Like, why can't you use your own hands? Like, and this is not the first incident where somebody grabbed something, a remote control or some kind of device. It's just insane to me. Like, y'all need to like calm down. I don't know what you're trying to prove in front of these little girls that's just sitting there laughing and giggling and trying to entertain you. Like, why? At least you got chicks right there. Usually, when guys fight, isn't it because there's too much like penises around or something? Like alcohol. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Like there's girls around. Like what the hell's going on? So
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I guess you can see a scenario where like the dude was trying to talk to a girl and he couldn't hear her because it was too loud. But it's like, well, welcome to the club, buddy. You're not on your own. One of the most baffling things to me about this is that yeah, obviously, yes, it's crazy that this happened twice. But yes, this guy's a boxer, but he was a super bantamweight, which is around 118 pounds. He is not a big guy. Yeah, I'm sure. He's a boxer. I'm sure he can hit hard. He knows how to fight. But 118 pounds, he killed the dude with the karaoke remote. And the guy previous to him that did this was a sumo wrestler who probably weighs like 400 pounds. Like there's a big weight difference here, and yet the outcome was the same.
I don't get that either. Why? What are you getting mad for? If it was over a girl or something, if that's really the case, you could have just paid another girl to come over to your table and sat down and like flirted with you and poured drinks for you or whatever. That's what happens with those places, by the way. They get
Have you ever been to one of those, or is it just like only single dudes, or sometimes single dudes go there?
I haven't been in them, but allegedly my family's owned some of those type of establishments, so
Ah.
I'm aware of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I this is totally new to me. I've never heard of this. And then I have a question about this, I guess, as well. Maybe other people will too, since they may not know about it. These girls, these flirting girls, are they like just like waitresses, like their employees, like oh, just flatter the customers type thing, or are they like borderline or legit like prostitutes?
No, they're just waitresses slash flirting girls slash
It,
yeah. They're just there to entertain.
it's like a Hooters vibe or something.
Yeah, yeah. Not the
Just,
stripper type chicks. No, no, no. They don't do anything like that. Maybe they do after the establishment's closed.
but that's
They
not
might
really
do
supposed
things,
to happen.
but yeah,
Okay,
they're just paid to sit there and just entertain these guys. And
just
that's it.
smile, look sexy, and entertain them.
Yeah, just cover their mouth and laugh and
Yes, that is something that Reen also confirmed to me that apparently there's quite a number of Japanese girls who do that stereotypical laughing while covering of the mouth type thing.
it's a true story. I'm not gonna lie about that.
That's what we're here for, to talk MMA, to talk shit, and to confirm our racist stereotypes. So,
I mean, just keeping it real. Just try to educate the people. That's all.
yeah, we're a diverse group here, and that's what we want to do. So. Yeah, we're gonna call it a night though. That's it for this episode. 16 episodes in, we're getting there. Got quite a few in the can already, but I want to thank you guys for listening as always. iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Podcast Republic. Also, we are now on iHeartRadio and TuneIn. I'm working on a few other platforms, so almost anywhere where there's podcasts, you can almost assuredly find us. As always, like, review, subscribe, anything to get the word out. I really appreciate you guys. As always, at juice underscore MMA on Twitter. Rina is at Fox with you. The Twitter IG account for podcast is at iFox with Juice. And we'll catch you guys next week. Later.
See you guys.